Warning: the following video contains footage from the main scenario campaign. Although no actual plot from the campaign is used, the scenes used themselves might serve as minor spoilers for some viewers. If you would like to avoid this, please use the timestamps below in the video description to skip ahead to each job's information segment. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed the show.
Who treadeth now upon my bones, and waketh me from slumber sweet?
Happy New Year to you too, Midgardsimer.
Andy, it's you. Happy New Year, my friend. I didn't recognize you from that stupid outfit of yours.
Excuse me? Introducing the Dragoon. The Dragoon is a master of piercing polearm attacks, capable of soaring into the sky with mighty leaps only to come bearing down on their foes with their mighty spears, bringing devastation and death from above. The Dragoon best suits players that like a good balance between dealing respectable personal damage while also boosting the DPS capabilities of their allies. Let's go over the strengths and weaknesses of the Ishgardian Dragon Slayer. The first strength that I'll go over with the Dragoon is its numerous buffing abilities. The Dragoon has many ways to help boost the DPS of its allies while boosting its own damage at the same time through many of its abilities and one of its weapon skills. Apart from doing damage, the Disembowel weapon skill applies a debuff on a hostile target that lowers its piercing resistance by 5%. This not only aids the Dragoon's own personal DPS, but also aids Bard and Machinist DPS as well. Dragon Sight, an ability introduced in Stormblood and attained at level 66, allows the Dragoon to tether itself to another player, increasing the Dragoon's own personal damage by 10%, while also increasing the tethered player's damage by 5%, as long as the player remains within a 12 yalm range of the Dragoon. By far the most powerful ability that a Dragoon has in its arsenal is the Battle Litany ability. This increases the critical hit rate of not only the Dragoon, but also any nearby party members by 15%. This ability not only provides a boosted DPS, but is also extremely helpful during coordinated burst phases, particularly in raid settings. A Dragoon has two more notable abilities. The first is Blood for Blood. Although not a group-oriented ability, Blood for Blood gives a Dragoon a 15% damage boost, but be wary as it also increases incoming damage by 10%. The second notable ability is Life Surge, a powerful self-buffing ability that ensures the next weapon skill critically hits. It also heals the Dragoon for up to 10% of its maximum health depending on how much damage is dealt. Coordinating the use of this just prior to using the True Thrust weapon skill, a Dragoon's highest potency weapon skill, alongside the Dragoon's other damage boosting buffs makes for a very heavy hitting burst attack. Aside from its many buffs, one more thing that Dragoon has for it is its playstyle. Simply put, the job is fun to play. Although the Dragoon has no weapon speed increasing skills, making it the slowest attacking of the 4 melee jobs, this is in truth a blessing since there are so many skills you need to plan for and manage. Weaving abilities into the Dragoon's 5-part weapon skill combo while keeping Blood of the Dragon up, keeping numerous buffs aligned, keeping an eye out for when to use Life of the Dragon, and so on keeps the Dragoon on its toes. There is never a dull moment when playing this job. Having said this leads me into the downsides of playing a Dragoon. The first is what I just mentioned. The Dragoon's playstyle complexity. It can be very daunting for new players to pick up a Dragoon when looking at its openers and skill rotations. It takes a lot of practice to play the Dragoon well, to get a feel of how to align its skills in an optimal way to get the most damage and utility out of it. This is not such a bad shortcoming though, as like I stated earlier, it merely takes practice to get a good feel for the Dragoon's playstyle. Another shortcoming that the Dragoon has is that its DPS, although respectable, is on average the second lowest amongst the 4 melee jobs. Furthermore, amongst all DPS jobs, it usually occupies the lower half of the DPS spectrum. This is to compensate for the many useful buffs it can provide to its party. To make things worse, the enmity a Dragoon generates with its attacks is ridiculously high for the damage they do. A Dragoon should always pack Diversion to reduce its enmity generation and should use Elusive Jump to dump aggro if it gets too close to the tank's aggro level. One final downside to playing a Dragoon is the one fatal flaw that it is notoriously known for. This one flaw is primarily responsible for all the floor tank memes plaguing the Dragoon community. Whenever a Dragoon uses jump, spine shatter dive, dragonfire dive, or elusive jump, the Dragoon is placed into animation lock until the skill animations end. The Dragoon is unable to move until it visually finishes any of these attacks. Jump in particular has the worst animation lock time frame, making the Dragoon incapable of moving not only when it's jumping to its enemy, but also while it bounces back to its original position. Timing these attacks poorly, and in the case of jump, using it in a bad position, can lead to very dangerous and in higher end content, often fatal situations. Despite these weaknesses, the Dragoon's party utility more than makes it not only a viable job, but also a preferred one, making the Dragoon part of the current raid meta. Hi Lise, Happy New Year! Heard you were looking for me? You're looking great as always, by the way.
It's nice of you to say so. And a bit embarrassing. But mostly nice. Anyway, the real reason I asked you here was to sneak in a warm-up. There's this place I know where monks used to spar as part of their training. Care to join me?
Sure, let me just change it to something more suitable. Here comes the monk. The monk is a living weapon, preferring to rely on its fists and its feet rather than other more conventional weapons of war. If you feel that the best way to solve a problem is to punch it in the face, then a monk is the right job for you. Let's first go over the strengths of the Alamegan Kickboxer. A monk's strength lies foremost in its damage output. Grease Lightning is the monk's main upkeep buff and benefits the monk in two ways. The first benefit it gives the monk is a 10% damage output increase per stack of Grease Lightning the monk has, up to a maximum of 3 stacks. The second benefit is that the monk's weapon skill cooldowns get drastically reduced, making it one of the fastest attacking jobs in the game currently, matched only by the ninja. Combining the speed and damage boost from Grease Lightning with buffs such as Internal Release and Riddle of Fire, buffs that increase a monk's crit chance by 30% and damage output by 30% respectively, gives the monk a tremendous boost to its damage. By further adding its many off-global cooldown attacks into the rotation, such as Elixir Field, Steel Peak, Shoulder Tackle, and Forbidden Chakra, a monk can personally deal some of the highest DPS in the game. In fact, as of this recording, monks have been parsing the highest DPS on average amongst all the other DPS classes in the highest percentiles of the Mega Savage raids. The monk isn't without its fair share of problems, however. A big downside to the monk is its over-dependency on positionals. Every weapon skill in the monk's 2 main combo rotations require the monk to hit from either the flank or the rear of an enemy, for each skill to deal its maximum damage. Only 3 of the 9 weapon skills, 2 of them being AoE focused and 1 a single target stun, have no positional requirements. This makes positioning so very important to a monk, and in many of the high-level fights, getting these positionals can be both difficult and frustrating. Amongst the 4 melee DPS jobs, the monk is punished the hardest when positionals are neglected. A monk is also heavily reliant on its Grease Lightning stacks for damage. Losing all those stacks at any point in the fight is a huge hindrance and can largely impact a monk's DPS. It is essential to keep this buff up throughout the entire fight. During a phase change where party-wide damage is guaranteed to be incurred, a monk should use Riddle of Earth to both reduce the damage it takes, as well as to refresh the timer on its Grease Lightning stacks. One final shortcoming that a monk has is that it is still a pretty selfish job. Apart from Brotherhood, which gives nearby party members 5% more damage output, and Mantra, which increases HP recovery from healing magic by 20% for the monk itself and nearby party members, the monk does not have anything else to offer a party. These 2 skills are better than nothing, but 1 or 2 more party support skills would be much appreciated in future job updates. All in all, with such high damage potential, the monk is more than viable for any content currently out there. So to all you monks out there, just keep on punching. Oh, getting tired here. Wonder how Yagiri's doing. Ah, there you are. Happy New Year, Yagiri. I've been looking all over for you. You're a hard one to find.
Forgive me for making you search.
Nah, it's cool. I'm used to it.
that I might have the strength to protect my home from the Empire, I left to learn the secrets of the shinobi. Day and night we trained, ever striving to exceed our mental and physical limits.
Tell me about it. The grind was real. Up next is the ninja. The ninja is a master assassin, specializing in deadly ninjutsu skills alongside stealth and subterfuge. Being the first of 2 melee jobs introduced after Final Fantasy XIV launched, the ninja has carved its place as a mainstay in any adventuring party. Let's first go over the strong points of a ninja. When it comes to party utility, none of the other 3 melee jobs can beat the ninja. For damage support, a ninja possesses the trick attack ability. If executed from the back of the target, trick attack renders the foe 10% more vulnerable to all sources of damage. This opens the target up to massive burst damage when this attack is aligned with other damage boosting buffs provided by other party members. Also, as damage support, the ninja applies a 10% slashing resistance debuff on a target when it uses its Shadow Fang weapon skill. This skill also applies a damage over time effect with a potency of 40 for 21 seconds. This increases the damage of ninjas as well as samurai and any of the 3 tank jobs as well. Outside of damage support, the ninja also has 2 abilities that affect enmity levels of itself and target party members. The first ability is Smoke Screen. This handy ability reduces enmity generation from a target party member for 20 seconds. This can help high enmity generating jobs such as Dragoons and Samurai manage their threat better, at least temporarily. The second ability, Shadewalker, also deals with enmity. Shadewalker transfers 80% of the ninja's own aggro to its target. This can greatly aid tanks keep ahead with their threat without having to resort to their aggro combos, or worse, use their tank stances. This in turn keeps their DPS high, thus increasing overall party DPS. Aside from support, the ninja is a very versatile job due to its many wide-ranging abilities, particularly those coming from its ninjutsu subset of skills. By using the hand gestures of Ten, Chi, and Jin in different combinations, a ninja can give itself the attack speed boost from Huton, can deal moderate single target damage and AoE damage from Raiton and Katon respectively, can create a field with a damage over time effect using Doton, can bind a target with Hyoton, and can allow the use of trick attack outside of stealth with Suiton. The ninja has many varying options available to it, making it an engaging job to play. As for the ninja's weaknesses, amongst the 4 melee jobs, the ninja has the lowest DPS. Though it does have some hard-hitting attacks such as Bava Kakra, a 600 potency single target attack, and Hellfrog Medium, an AoE attack with 400 potency, the overall DPS potential of the ninja is lower than the monk, the samurai, and the dragoon. Where it lacks in personal DPS, it makes up for with group utility, bolstering the overall damage output of its party members instead. One other more minor downside of playing a ninja is how difficult it can be to play without constant practice and good concentration. Using the ninja's ninjutsu is particularly demanding. Ninjutsu skills require specific combinations of the Ten, Chi, and Jin abilities used in succession. It takes a lot of practice to have all the combinations in muscle memory, and messing up leaves you with 20 seconds until you can try again. Granted, you can use Kasatsu, a 120-second cooldown ability that resets your ninjutsu cooldown instantly, but again it's on a 120-second cooldown timer. It's best to keep this aligned with other skills in the proper rotation rather than using it to correct a missed ninjutsu skill. Also, this is all happening while you're trying to keep yourself in time with your weapon skill rotation cooldowns, so concentration and the ability to adapt and multitask are vital for anyone playing a ninja. Getting past all of this, the ninja is an outstanding job and can definitely clear any content out there. I would personally like to see some tweaking to its damage output. It should be capable of outputting higher DPS than what it is currently able to put out. Other than that, it feels like it's in a pretty good place.
You there! Hold that ship!
What the? Shouldn't you two be in Doma?
Shouldn't you? You left with nary a word. I half wondered if I had done something to offend.
Upon learning that you had departed for Kugane, we immediately resolved to give chase.
I'm heading back to Eorzea. There's some stuff I need to take care of back home.
Hurry up, you lot! The ship's about to weigh anchor!
It seems our time is at an end. Go well, my friends.
See you around, Hien. And Happy New Year to you, Tataru. Finally, the Samurai. Introduced in Stormblood as one of 2 new expansion exclusive jobs alongside the Red Mage, the Samurai is a master in the art of the blade. Hailing from Doma, a far eastern continent, the Samurai have come a long way to prove their worth in the field of battle. For those of you wanting to play the role of the stoic far eastern swordsman, the Samurai might just be the job for you. First, let's go over the Samurai's strong points. The first advantage a Samurai has over the other 3 melee jobs is its mobility. A Samurai's gap closer, Hisatsu Gyoten, and its fallback skill, Hisatsu Yaten, are both on 10-second cooldowns, making them at least 3 times more readily available than other movement skills such as shoulder tackle from the monk and any of the jumps from the Dragoon. Yaten makes it easy for a Samurai to evade most AoE attacks, while Gyoten makes it a lot easier for a Samurai to stay on its target, enabling it to have higher damage upkeep. This higher damage upkeep contributes to a Samurai's most notable strength, its very high damage output. The Samurai is one of the most highest damaging jobs in the game. Not only does it tout high DPS, but it also has the 2 highest potency attacks currently in the game. Midare Setsugeka is a 720 potency attack with a 1.8 second base cast time, making it the highest potency weapon skill. It does require some build-up time though, as a Samurai must first build up its Sen gauge by accumulating the Setsu, Getsu, and Ka effects from its Gekko, Yukikaze, and Kasha combo chains respectively, in order to unleash Setsugeka through its Iejatsu weapon skill. With this attack being a weapon skill, the Samurai can use Hisatsu Kaiten, a skill that increases the potency of any following weapon skill by 50% prior to using Setsugeka, and thus making it into, get ready for this, a 1080 potency attack. Aside from Setsugeka, the Samurai also has an 800 potency line AoE attack in Hisatsu Guren. Mind you, this is not 800 potency for all the enemies hit in the line, as the second enemy hit receives only 75% of the damage, and all remaining enemies hit receive only half the original damage. Still, this is one damaging ability. It is balanced out by the fact that it is on a 2-minute timer and costs half of the Samurai's Kenki gauge, a shared resource used by quite a few of the Samurai's skills. As this attack is an ability and not a weapon skill, Hisatsu Kaiten will not have any effect on it. The Samurai can dish out very high AoE DPS as well. Alongside Hisatsu Guren, the Samurai also has 2 AoE combo chains, a cone AoE combo finisher when Iejatsu is used with just 2 of the 3 Sen effects activated in the Sen gauge, and a spammable 150 potency circle AoE in Hisatsu Q10. This makes the Samurai not only deadly against single targets, but it also makes it a solid threat against packs of enemies. Now for a Samurai's weakness. As you may have noticed, the only strength I really mentioned about the Samurai is its DPS capabilities. That is because DPS is all that a Samurai has going for it. The Samurai has absolutely no group utility outside of role action skills. While I shouldn't say that, it does offer a 10% slashing resistance debuff through its Yukikaze combo, but that is already offered by the ninja and the warrior as well. It has absolutely nothing unique to offer to a party support-wise. This would have been okay if Samurai boasted the highest DPS out of all the other jobs. Unfortunately, a Samurai does not deal high enough damage to warrant this lack of party support. In current raid standings, the Summoner and even the Monk is quite often outperforming the Samurai. If the Samurai is to continue down the route of all DPS with no support, then its damage output has to be improved significantly. However, I personally would prefer the Samurai to remain as it is DPS wise, but be also given support skills to be more useful to a party. Alright, now that I've gone over the strengths and weaknesses of each melee job, I will now give you my own personal thoughts on how they rank against one another. Please remember, this is just my own personal preference on the matter. It is always best for you to try out the job or jobs that most interest you for yourself. Now, here are my rankings. In last place, I will have to go with Samurai, a job that provides nothing but a slashing debuff as group utility outside of role actions, while at the same time not topping the DPS charts, does not sit well with me at all. If the Samurai is to remain as selfish as it currently is, then it needs a boost to its damage. In third place, I will have to go with the Monk. Its personal damage is high, but like the Samurai, it has minimal utility that it can offer a group. Brotherhood's 5% physical damage boost is nice, but this skill does not even benefit the Monk itself with that same damage boost. Instead, affected party members have a 30% chance on each weapon skill used within 15 seconds to provide the Monk with 1 chakra. This RNG aspect combined with Forbidden Chakra having only 250 potency makes Brotherhood feel like an underwhelming level 70 ability. In the runner-up place, I will go with the Dragoon. This job is a lot of fun with a lot of party support that can really make a difference in difficult encounters. However, it's somewhat low damage and the animation locks really make it suffer and prevent it from being the top melee job in my eyes. That means for first place, I choose the Ninja. Although the lowest damage of the melee pack, the Ninja has superb utility. Its enmity manipulation skills help other DPS go all out with their damage without fear of gaining the enemy's attention, and lets tanks focus on DPS as well without fear of losing aggro. Trick Attack really does wonders to boost a group's overall damage. That is 10% more damage from all sources, not just physical or magical, all. Thank you so very much for watching this video. I didn't think it would reach this length, but there was just so much to talk about with these 4 jobs. Please like and share this video if you did enjoy it, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Click that bell icon as well to get notifications on any of my future uploads. Thank you again and take care, and Happy New Year everyone!